Hello, friend. If it's your first time here, welcome to the collective, and to those of you returning, I'm so happy to see you again. And right now, it feels like you have been working so hard on something and pushing yourself to achieve something. Not achieve, but achieve. Sorry, that was just a weird way to say it. But I feel like it's one of those things where you're just wondering what's the point? Is any of this worth it? Are you ever going to be able to accomplish the thing that you're setting out for? You're almost on the brink of defeat. And it's one of those things where, what is it that needs to get you to break through this wall, to find this just like achievable thing that you can you can achieve, you can receive. So what's keeping us from receiving it? And that's what I want to ask today, and that's what I want to find out. So, of course, we're going to start with getting to know what the underlying issue is. We're going to work on finding out what it is that maybe we don't realize is playing a part in the, situation. Because in order to know the solution, we also have to understand the whole problem. So let's just ask the cards to give us, I always forget I have small hands. Let's ask the cards to give us some clarity on what it is that is keeping us stuck in this place where we're not able to get the breakthrough that we can easily receive. It's just a matter of what needs to happen. Well, that's not nice. We have resilience, centered through harmony and chaos. So this is kind of like a slap in the face, I'm not gonna lie. It's literally saying that what you need is to just keep having faith, to keep pushing through, and to keep doing the thing. And yeah, trust me, I get that. I've been there. Spirit's given me the same lesson, and I've pushed through, and I was able to do it. And every time I've had to have a lesson in resilience, it's not fun, first off. I hated every lesson in resilience. But the thing is I've learned how strong I truly am. And unfortunately, if I wouldn't have had that test in resilience, I wouldn't have realized my true strength. So when I see this resilience card, it's a reminder that yes, keep pushing through, but also keep remembering why you're doing this, because the why is the thing that's going to keep you centered through that harmony and chaos. So don't focus on what action you're doing, focus on why you're doing it. And, ask Spirit, be like, okay, what can I do to see myself easier, to see how strong I am easier, instead of having to keep pushing through the same wall. Our next card. In the sway of influence, create with your authentic self. Okay. It's interesting that both of these cards are in the same position. That's not, this position's not on every card. Interesting. Okay. So, in the sway of influence, create your authentic life. Create with your authentic self. This is one of those reminders where you're probably trying to go at the issue by someone else's recommendation. You're probably trying to follow someone else's voice that's not your own. And I'm saying this because a lot of times when we try to solve problems based off of other people's advice, and they could be well-intended people, they could love us, they could be supporting us, they could want us to do so much. But if we're not listening to that inner voice and following what that inner voice tells us to do, if we're not giving ourselves the chance to solve it and go through this our way, then we're not learning our lesson. And Spirit's going to come through and say, the block is you not doing it the way that you want to do it. Reflection. Examine thoughts and feelings. See, I told you not all the cards have that little character sitting in it. So, reflection. Examine thoughts and feelings. Okay, that's literally what I was just saying about, you needing to make sure that you're doing this your way. But this card takes it one step further, and it wants you to reflect on this experience. You're probably like, Kirsten, how much more reflection can I do? I've been doing this for so long. Like, what can I possibly learn from this that I don't already know? Listen, first off, the card's the one that suggested it. I'm just the messenger. But also, when I have been near burnout, when I have made it had hard times figuring out how to keep moving forward, when I've just been at my wit's end, and I've let myself actually sit and journal, or sit and meditate, or just give myself the chance to really reflect, a lot of times I found out that what I was trying to break through was just a thought adjustment, was just a perception shift, was just a understanding that the thing I was trying to break through to was something I already was, if that made sense. So we'll use an example of, me trying to be a healthier person. So I was trying for so hard to be a healthier person. I was trying to push myself to eat healthy, to walk more, to do all these things. And I was holding myself up to some standard. I couldn't even tell you what the standard was, but there was a standard I was holding myself up to. And I was getting so mad because I was just not becoming that healthy person, no matter what I did, no matter how I tried. So when I allowed myself to sit and reflect, the irony in it was, like, my higher self was like, okay, well, what were you eating like 2 months ago? And I was like, okay. And I saw myself eating like all the junk food, all the sugary, all the snacks that I used to typically eat. I used to make baked goods every weekend, and I had that every weekend. Like, I just, saw it. And then my higher self is like, okay, how do you eat now? And like, it was a complete shift. I literally eat vegetables instead of chips for snacks. I ate hummus as a dip instead of like a high calorie, like cream-based dip. I don't bake baked goods every weekend now. I maybe do it once a month. The meals that I do eat, I eat less, but the calories count more because it's better protein, it's better carbs, it's better fiber, it's better, all around, it's just better food. So I was getting so mad at myself for not breaking through to being something that I thought I needed to be when I was already being that thing. So consider that. All right, now let's ask the tarot. It's not that I want to ask the tarot what's brought us here, because I get what we're going through. Also, I want to point out that this time out, before we ask the tarot cards, I feel like this position is significant. And it's the fact that you are being asked to reflect. I'm not saying you have to meditate like this, but I am saying I feel like the answer is honestly more in meditation than it is in journaling. And if you've been in the collective for a minute, you know how much I love to journal, but I feel like for once, Spirit's really asking you to call out for meditation. So I'm going to ask the tarot what it is that we feel that is holding us back, that like what actions we're not seeing that are acting in our best interest, and what actions it is that we don't really realize are helping us go towards our future. Just a few more cards. Just about our actions in general, because we know that actions are what get us to our goal. Oh, okay, there was a card there. That one, and then, hold on. It was this one. And it is hiding now. Okay. But what it is that we're so focused on, what actions that we're so like worried about, that we keep thinking that we're not being what we're being. So the 9 of Wands, the Wounded Warrior card, again, literally the resilience card of the tarot. The cards are being a little snarky with us today. But with the 9 of Wands here in its reversed position, it's actually better to see this card this way. Because when I see the card this way, it's a reminder that yes, we are tired, we are exhausted, but it's just saying that we need to like reprioritize, and that we kind of have already started to reprioritize. What do I mean by that? The story that I tell with the Wounded Warrior is the Wounded Warrior has fought many battles, and with the battles that it's fought, it's one of those things where the Wounded Warrior looks around and says, hey, there's a bunch of woods, like there's wood all around, and I could use that to build me a shelter. And then from that shelter, the Wounded Warrior allows themselves to take a nap. And after they take the nap, they allow themselves to, go ahead and collect some berries for food because they're hungry. And over time, the Wounded Warrior ends up making their own little fort, and they find ease and effort. You're already doing this. You just need to realize what you've done and what you've created, and give yourself the opportunity to say, hey, I've been doing this. I've been doing the work, and it's real. All right, Judgment in its reverse position. Judgment's always about you judging yourself, no one else judging you. And again, Judgment in the reverse position tells me that you've looked yourself in the mirror and you've already made the decision. You're already doing the work. The fact that you are feeling like nothing is making a difference is kind of like not true. The cards are telling you, literally with just the story that I explained about me eating healthier, you are already doing the thing. So I feel like part of it is you're not actually looking yourself in the mirror and seeing the true person on the other side. You're still seeing the past version of you and not the version that you are now. Because Judgment in its reverse position is you knowing who you're becoming and you becoming that person. Queen of Cups in her upright position. So this is you, whether you're male or female, because queens are the divine feminine card of the cup suit. And this is you having the ability to understand how to work with your emotions, how to give yourself compassion, give yourself grace, how to nurture yourself, how to love yourself and care for yourself in a way that is beautiful. The Queen of Cups understands that emotions are part of the process and that compassion is 100% part of the process. So maybe part of the answer is leading into this Queen of Cups energy and giving yourself the chance to have compassion with yourself, to give yourself grace, and to really pay attention to what your emotions are trying to tell you. And then we have the Five of Cups in its reverse position. So, okay, whatever sparked this change, whatever sparked this difference, it wasn't sparked by you having just like a happy-go-lucky, oh, I'm going to lose weight today moment. No, this was sparked by something that was deep, and I get that now. This card is 100% always about grief. The only way to get past grief is to walk through the grief, and it's not fun. It's really just uncomfortable feeling. But the Five of Cups in its reverse position again tells me that you have been doing it. And I just want to point out, all the cards that I have, I consider better in a reverse position. So you are doing something right, friend. You are 100% doing something right. But when we have the Five of Cups, it's telling me that you're kind of just too much in the grief to be able to see the differences that you have made. It's one of those where, you know, you're so focused on the why that you're doing this and focused on the feelings that come with that why. Not necessarily like the why that I asked you to focus on here. It's more like the feelings that come with the why, the guilt, the shame, maybe the despair even. It's like one of those things where you're so focused on getting rid of that you're forgetting the real why of why you're doing it. So if you are trying to lose weight, and say it's because you received some type of diagnosis, or if you're trying to lose weight because you just looked at yourself in the mirror and you're like, you know, this isn't healthy, or something along those lines, you're focusing more on the guilt and the shame that has allowed you to get here, instead of focusing on the fact that you just want to be healthier, that you just want to feel better. That's what we need to focus on. So let's keep working on releasing this grief, because it is the only way to get through it, but I know you can do it. Now I want to ask the cards to help us understand what it is that we have to do to find that stillness, to find that peace, to give ourselves the chance to get clear on the why, to get clear on the understanding. So that way, instead of allowing ourselves to feel like things aren't different, we can clearly see that yes, things are different, things have changed, that we have changed, and that all of our hard work isn't amounting to nothing. So what is it that we can do that can help us gain clarity and insight on this just overall exhausting journey that we're putting ourselves on that feels, it doesn't feel, it kind of feels useless, but it doesn't feel like, you know, it's not going to have an end, because there is an end. Herald of Change, Horseman. Okay. So, like, this is just a bright, shiny card, and, like, there is just so much power in this. Again, claim your change. Claim the changes that you have made. Claim the things that you have done, and see how far you've come. Allow yourself to understand that, you know, what your goal might be and where you were in the beginning are two different things. Like, yes, your goal might be to, you know, have a certain amount of money in your savings account, or your goal might be to, you know, start eating a certain way, or meal prepping a certain amount of times, or something along those lines. But see how far you've come. See what you're already doing that's getting you closer to that goal, and allow yourself to celebrate that. Unmarked Trail, Revelation. Okay, once again, so this is almost like the reflection card. But realize that this is your new journey, that this journey is new to you. And it's one of those things where what you're doing is making a difference. but the signs aren't so easy to see because this is your first time walking down this actual trail. So allow yourself to find the differences and to just see what it is this time that you are doing correctly. Literally, just ask yourself and look back, what am I doing correctly? What can I focus on that helps me know that, yes, I am walking the way I want to walk? Repairing the veil, forgiveness. This is a huge one too. This goes exactly with what I was talking about with the Five of Cups in its reverse position. Is we have to allow ourselves to understand that, yes, the decisions that have led us to this point, we probably knew at the time that they weren't right for us, but at the time we did the best with what we had, even if it was not the greatest thing. Here's the thing about forgiveness. This isn't necessarily about forgiving other people. This is about forgiving yourself first. Forgive yourself first and allow yourself to let go of the feelings of shame, of desperation, of, just agony, that, it is you who put yourself here, and allow yourself to understand, well, yeah, it is you who made these decisions. It is also you who is changing your life. It is also you who is working to better yourself. And it's also you who is here now watching this video, knowing that you are a warrior and that you can do this. And then we have closing door, completion. Oh, this is beautiful, because this is telling me too that right now that what you're doing, that you're at this pivotal point, is because you're about to complete something. Obviously the thing says completion, but understand that sometimes when we have that perception shift that I was talking about with reflection, and we allow ourselves to realize, oh, I am different, I am a different person, all of a sudden, the person that you're trying not to be anymore isn't you. You're just like, oh my goodness, I shed that skin, I let go of that mask, I'm not that character anymore. And it happens so instantaneously that you don't even realize that the door closed. So closing door is telling me that the door on the part of you that you're trying to change is already closing. And we know that when one door closes, another opens. So understand that you are there. It doesn't feel like it, but I promise you are. All right, so I'm just going to ask for some encouragement at this point, because it's not nice to hear that we just need a perception shift. It's not, especially when we're feeling defeated and aggravated and this all is amounting to nothing. So let's just ask Spirit to give us some encouragement, to help us, have something that just clicks and gives us not comfort right away, but gives us something that says, okay, I understand. All right, so the first card we got is support. Seek and offer support when needed. So this one is a good reminder that sometimes the best way to see how much you've changed, how much of a difference you've made in your own life, is to offer support to other people who are trying to make similar changes. And you will realize as you coach and talk to these people that, oh, I am able to do this so much easier than what I used to be. And I know where they're starting at and I know where I started at, and it's completely different. So that's an actually really helpful piece of advice there. Energy. Direct your energy towards what you want to achieve. Again, this is you focusing on the actions that you want to be taking and not the direct results of the actions that you're trying to get. Yes, your goal is important, but what you need to focus on is the actions that you take on a regular basis that help you get there. Because that repetition, that consistency is what's going to make the difference in your life. And then we have compassion. Show compassion towards yourself and others. That is a huge thing, and that's what I was talking about with the Queen of Cups here, is compassion. And you needing to understand that this isn't going to be something that's going to happen overnight, but also allow yourself to realize the change that you have made and the abilities and the things that you are doing now that make a difference. And then our last card, manifestation. Focus on what you truly desire. The universe will respond. Again, this is a reminder that we need to focus on the true goal, the real goal, not just the external thing, but the internal thing, the thing that is driving us from the inside. We can do that, and the rest of it will fall into place. Thank you so much for being part of my collective today. If you want to understand on what it is, like how your story is different, or if you don't know how the progress you have made has happened, go ahead and put a comment in the go ahead and tell your story in the comments below, because sometimes you get the answers when you're actually actively talking about it to somebody. And if you need that person to talk to, hit us up in the comments. There's a whole group here. We, love to help each other. If you want more specific information, you can always get a private reading. There is a link in the description below. And I just want to remind you that you are not walking this path alone. And I'm so excited to see you again. I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.